Druid.
Here's to you, Stormy.
And here's to all of them out there.
All of you.
Yes. All you wonderful people of Stormkeep, you Knights of Stormkeep, we love you so. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bandwidth and Banter today. It's exciting stuff. We've been so busy prepping the new interviewees and spreading them out. We're scheduling out into July already.
Already into July, y'all.
Yep. And it's awesome that you all enjoy the show so much, and we appreciate all your support. It's fantastic. So I see you have updated the sign back there. It looks pretty dope. I like it.
Streamer of Stormkeep.
That'll be a nice temporary placeholder until, obviously there'll be future pushes where we're going to be
absolutely
trying to push folks the way we were able to help lift up Aries and jump him into affiliate. Of course, that's not to diminish him. He had to earn it, and he did, because
he earned it for sure.
His content and his personality are just enjoyable to watch. And he's got a damn sexy avatar, too.
Just kidding. No kidding. You don't know how hard it's been not to create another cult, but, it's fine. I have too many of those.
Yeah. Mute the stream. Fate. What? That's funny. It's funny that we have Fate in chatting with you guys, because our person of the day, our interviewee, needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway, because he deserves it. He has earned it too, as one of the most important people of Stormkeep, and of course, our D&D Isles of the Mist campaign wouldn't be the same without him, and our friendship would not be the same without him, and our lives would not be the same without him. So
yes,
we're super stoked to have our wonderful brother ExtirpateFate on the show today. I can't wait. Look at her, she's beaming. I can't blame her.
I love him.
Yes, of course you do. So I think it's time. What do you think? Look, Rovendeer's here too.
Absolutely.
Hello. We got all these wonderful folks.
I think it's time.
They're waiting for us. So here we go. We're jumping straight to it. I appreciate you guys. Here comes the interview with the incredible ExtirpateFate. I love it.
Swipe in. It's like a transition.
It was beautiful.
So, Fate, I know we said you don't need any introduction, but we want to hear it anyway. Introduce yourself, a la Bandwidth and Banter. Tell us about yourself and your stream for folks in the audience.
Hello, everybody. I am extirpateFate, or you can just call me Fate if that's simpler for you guys. I am a quote-unquote variety streamer. I say that because most of my games are punishing, even when it's D&D. But yeah, I just kind of roll with what I enjoy. I enjoy the community and everybody here, so that's really kind of what it's all about. For me, it's just kind of a nice chill vibe. That's except for the games. The games need to be brutal, I guess.
It's interesting. It's a nice dichotomy that you have going on there, where you play these brutal games, but you have this relaxing, chill vibe and voice for the stream.
Yeah, it's
like
it's definitely a challenge, but a welcome challenge at that.
You provide something for folks who like to watch the games that you're playing, and for folks who just like to lurk and listen.
Yeah, that was kind of like a happy accident. That was never really kind of my direct intent. I wasn't like, oh, let's just kind of appeal to two kind of aspects of viewership. But I'm happy that it kind of works that way, because I absolutely love all my lurkers. I think they're some of the best people in my community. Because they're the ones that are really kind of keeping things going, as a like on a consistent basis. The behind the scenes, and I appreciate that a lot. and I'm glad to know that my stream kind of works well for people to have like background music or background atmosphere without being overly engaging to sometimes, and then
Starkity says lurkers unite. She's right.
lurkers unite. Yes.
Well, are you ready to get into the nitty gritty of it and get interrogated, sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, I get to start this roll off with the usual one. If you've watched any of our episodes before, you'll know what's coming. Please share a boring fact about yourself.
A boring fact about myself. It's the one that I thought that I would know right off the bat, but I don't. A boring fact. I struggled at learning guitar because my thumb bends at a 90-degree angle, which makes it difficult to not mute the strings on the fretboard.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Like everybody in the audience just went, wait a second.
Wow.
No, and it's only my left thumb, not my right.
Huh. So that opens up an interesting thing, is that you try to learn guitar.
Well, I took a music class back in community college just for credits. And before art, the original idea was music. And it would just, it didn't pan out. Like I do not have the tact for it. I don't have the it doesn't jive with me as much as I love it. Like I think music like touches upon a lot of things, and I think it has a great impact on like everybody. But I wasn't able to really make something of it, or something I felt was adequate. So art instead, because why not?
Gotcha. Well said. It's to you, Druid.
How did you pick your Twitch name? What was the inspiration?
My Twitch name. My Twitch name came from my username on all of my other like gaming consoles, and it came from the magic card extirpate, which was to it means like to get rid of or abolish, and then kind of that interesting aspect of like getting rid of fate. And I thought it was something interesting. It was just a unique way of combining two words that shouldn't really work together. Not that they shouldn't, but like, it makes a statement. So, because you make your own fate, I guess.
Yeah,
at least
absolutely.
That's kind of my thought.
I
was like, it's cool. Well,
it is cool,
yeah.
And I love the abstract nature of it. It definitely appeals to me on multiple levels. I don't know if folks remember this, but Fate and I kind of bonded over that. I was one of the few people who recognized that his name must have been from the magic card, because almost nobody ever uses that word in the vernacular.
You were the second person to actually say it right the first time reading it since I started streaming.
Oh,
Everybody fumbles it so bad, including me.
Yeah.
Was I the first person to recognize and ask you about it as the magic card?
No, second as well.
Oh, second to that as well. Okay, right on.
Yeah. There was another streamer that I had followed, and I just popped in, and they're like, "Hey, that's the magic card, extirpate," and I was like, "Yeah." But that was early on Twitch. That was before I'd met you.
As a philosopher, I also love what you did by mashing those two words together. As a linguist and a philosopher, I love the concept that you've created by mashing those together, and it's wonderful.
I will say I struggled with keeping it for Twitch when I first decided to stream, because I thought it would be too difficult for people to articulate, right? Because one of those things of when you think about like your Twitch name, like you go, "Oh, follow me. What's your Twitch? extirpateFate." What? You know what I mean? There was that concern of like, oh, if I'm going to kind of market myself or kind of put myself out there, make something easy. But I'd stuck with it for so long. It's one of those like it was too hard to just get rid of. So
I can respect that.
Now you're stuck with it.
Now I'm stuck with it.
Yep. All right, buddy. This should be an easy one. Well, actually, I already know we've discussed this before. So although we ended up having some interesting discussions about it. What D&D class do you consider yourself to be in real life?
Oh, yeah, Warlock. And mainly because it's that, like the way I view the Warlock is it's kind of, it's not quite this, it's not quite that. I know when you really look at classes like the Jack of all trades is like the Bard, right? The Bard has so much, as we clearly know if you watch Isles in the Mist, the Bard does everything. Gangsters. But I like the aspect of the Warlock because it's, there are great things that can come from it, but there's just as many pitfalls. So it kind of, to me, relates in my life of there has been a lot of struggles that I've had and overcome them through creative means, which is how I view the playing of a Warlock. So, because you have to be mindful about your spell slots, you have to be creative, you have to kind of, is it worth doing this? And I've overcome a lot of challenges in life by just going, think outside the box, use something creatively with limited resources.
Right on, right on. I love it. That's a great answer. So, if I remember correctly in our conversations, the reason why I had asked him this personally before is because I made a version of him in Solasta, and for my own personal playthrough, and I envisioned. I didn't know at the time because he hadn't responded back to me yet on Discord, and I didn't know at the time that what to pick. And so I kind of like, well, what do I think he would pick? And so I ended up picking Ranger for you just because of your many years of being an actual freaking Ranger in your airsoft community, right? So
yeah, and that's something I never thought of. Like when you brought that up, I was like, "Oh, that's so perfect.
That makes
makes so much more sense." Yeah.
I love that the Warlock. You feel yourself to be a Warlock on a personal, visceral level, right? But then on a more practical level, the Ranger makes sense.
Yeah, the Ranger practically fits me way more than
100%.
a Warlock.
Especially with your play style with airsoft.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us about your first TTRPG character.
Okay. So my very first TTRPG character, I was playing the Palladium system, which is just a D20 system that incorporated a lot of other games. So when I was playing with my DM, it was incorporated with like D&D, Pathfinder, Rift, and all that stuff. And I created a character named Jace Korth. And I wanted to play an assassin because I was like, I could pick whatever. Cool, right? Because I'm thinking of it like a video game, right? I had no idea that it was drastically different from that. And I was like, okay, I want to play an assassin. And my DM's like, and I go, what if it's a moral assassin? And he's like, what? And I go, think Assassin's Creed. So I built a character that kind of played off of the concept of like the Creed from the Assassin's Creed video games. Yeah, he was a more of a jack of all trades than an actual assassin. Yeah, it was super nuts. He was a game breaker.
What was his race? Yeah. And what actual class was he? I guess assassin was a class in Palladium?
Assassin.
Okay. And what was his race?
Human.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. What were you gonna? What was the other thing you said?
Oh, just tell us about him.
In the very first dungeon that we ever went in, I made the right decision, but also the mistake. And it was like super early. It was like a third session. I was told, don't get attached to your characters. And I was like, okay. And there was no way forward except for this big old massive hole in the wall that's about the size of your arm, with like a lion's head adorning it. And they're like, so what do you do? And I was just like, I stick my arm in there all the way. And he's like, okay. And ended up having a metal arm, like all the way up to like just past mid bicep. That was completely indestructible. And it didn't repel magic or negate it, but it was like a magnet. Like when you had the same side of a magnet touching each other, it would kind of push itself off. So I practiced like deflecting magic while attacking the fireball coming in. Yeah, it was a lot of angry math.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I used
you
it
made
like
your
a shield.
you made your DM pull his hair out.
Yeah. I used it like a shield. We encountered a Death Knight, and I blocked its axe as it came down. And the Death Knight actually had a shocked look, despite being in the skull face. And I was like, "We need to run!" And it's just like, "What just happened?" And it like faltered for so long, we were able to get out because he's like, "That doesn't happen."
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So,
It's good.
ooh, here's a deep one. I like this question. This is one of mine.
Okay.
Why was it so important to you to help Druid find a good D&D experience?
Ooh. I wanted her to experience the same joy that I had when when it first clicked. Because when I got into it, my buddy called me up. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "Nothing." He goes, "Do you want to come over? I'm playing D&D with a friend, and I need your help." So he basically just voluntold me that I'm playing D&D. Right. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Like, he kind of gave me a synopsis of like what it's like. And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. And after like the second session, because, first one was like mostly character building, I was hooked. And when Druid and I started dating, we had a lot of conversations of like, fantasy, like story building, like narrative creation. And, I was like, you would love this. And when we kind of tried it before, not to say that it was the worst experience because there were bad people, everybody was way too new and it was hard to have a nice flow. And not that that was bad, but everyone had a much higher expectation of what it was supposed to be, but with not to say no skill or no history to back it up, but like you didn't have the talent, or the talent seems really neat.
It
The
was
experience of running it well and navigating how to be a DM, there wasn't that, and it turned into more of a negative experience. But that's only because it didn't gel. So that's something that I kind of really wanted to have for Druid. So when we started ours, I immediately, like by the end of like our first sit down or our second sit down, I was like, Stormy knows what he's doing. I can see that, I can tell, and that this is going to be fun, and I just let the creativity go. So. And she's always like, I can't do that. I can't do this. I'm not really good at that. I'm not good at RP. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to stream. I couldn't do it.
She's trying to hide off camera. Get back on
Lies.
camera. Come on,
Yeah.
Banter. All right.
Yeah, no, I wanted her to experience the joy and that creativity. And I'm glad that she found it.
Right on. Right on. That's awesome.
Save your questions for the end, Mystic Wolf.
Yes, at the last 30 minutes, we will open the floor to you guys. So for sure, remember your question.
Compound question.
Ooh.
What is your favorite D&D class, and what is your least favorite D&D class?
Like conceptually, or that I've played?
Conceptually.
Conceptually, I think the sorcerer is the coolest. Sorcerer and warlock, I think they have some of the coolest concepts that you can kind of mesh together. I do really enjoy the magic element, even though I'm playing a Smashy Boy. But I think it's kind of tricky and a little bit of loaded questions since I haven't played as much with a variety of characters. It's really been a martial class or a martial class half caster. So I've never really played as anything else. So conceptually, I think the ranger would actually be really, really fun. I think it would play to the idea that like I would play in Skyrim, like stealth archer and maybe a little bit of magic support. That's very much how I play a lot of RPG games. And then least favorite. There's really nothing about the barbarian as a whole that makes me want to play it. I think the barbarian for me would be a decent class to dip into, but I don't think a barbarian is really my jive.
I understand. I can definitely appreciate and respect that for sure. All right, switching gears a little bit here, brother. What drew you to Twitch?
What curiosity. It was always something that I thought about. I've always enjoyed playing games. I had always imagined Twitch as like you play games with friends, and not. I mean, you do, right? But like my interpretation was I was gonna like stream and play games like I did when I was playing solo, and some of the conversations I've had with my friends while playing games have been absolutely hilarious and be great content. And I was always just curious. I was like, I could probably do that. I could do that. Like I enjoy playing games. Why not? And I talked about it for like a year and a half or 2 years about going, I should probably do that. I should probably do this. And I was like, nah. And I hemmed hawed for a long time. And it was my buddy, SOC Teddy, the one that I have this other side, the sticker. He was the one who was just like, just do it, and got me set up. So I kind of just took a leap of faith and just tried it. Didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do.
Right on.
To be honest. Yeah.
Agreed. Well said.
What did family and friends think about? If I could read, that would be great.
Yeah.
What did friends and family think when you told them you planned on streaming?
My mom's like, "What's that?" And I explain it. I don't get it. But okay. Are you having fun? Yeah. Okay. It's very much that meme. Are you winning, son? Yeah. Cool. And there you go. I mean, my parents have always been super supportive. They don't really understand it in the context of like what it is, but they understand the appeal. So trying to explain to mom about like what streaming is, and like I'm like, just imagine you're watching YouTube, but it's live. And she's like, oh, and they pay you for that? I was like, sometimes. And she's like, that's cool. Do you make a lot? No. Something's better than nothing. Yeah. And then everyone else is like, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, nice.
Do you remember my reaction?
No.
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 I probably was like, all right, do it.
Yeah, I mean, you're always super supportive. Like no one has told me no, you shouldn't do that, or that's a bad idea. Everyone was just either non-committal or like, yeah, go for it. And then we just kind of just went for it. Yeah.
So
mom was the best though.
Your mom is the best though. Like hands down every time.
What struggles did you deal with when you first started streaming?
Other than like the physical setup, because figuring out how to do a dual PC stream, because the one tower was just not strong enough to do both. I tried it, and it had really a lot of skip frames. Aside from like troubleshooting and kind of getting started and learning like how like slobs is and Twitch and how that functions, the hardest part for me was getting over being on camera. I've never really enjoyed my photo being taken. I actively don't like my photo being taken. I will when it's like a big group thing. But like, here, let me just take your photo. I'm like, nah, it's cool. I'll take your photo though. I prefer to be on the other side of the camera, which is fine. But that was definitely the hardest thing to get over. And I still kind of struggle with it a little bit. Just being hyper aware that I'm on camera and people are watching. But I think in a way it's a healthy respect and consciousness, not give me like a bunch of anxiety and make me feel weird, but just like people are watching you. So.
Gotcha.
What tips can you share to future streamers?
Good quality audio is necessary, as we are all still working on it.
Yep.
Audio levels, please get those checked. Whatever you do, do not ever use the mic attached to your fancy headset, because those are trash.
Yeah, they are.
You will get slandered by your best friend for the first time playing games on stream, and he has to apologize to his community because your mic is absolute trash, and that he's giving you a free one that will fix that for the next time. So please don't hate me. Real conversation that happened.
Was that with Wookiees and Cookies?
No, that was Matt. I mean, they're friends.
Yeah,
They know each other. They've known each other longer than I've known them. But yeah, Matt was like, "Okay, everybody, listen. He's gonna be getting into streaming. We're, super cool. I know him in real life. He's a great guy. His mic sucks. So please just bear with it today. I'm giving him a new mic this weekend. It'll fix the problem. We're just gonna have some fun. Yeah, a real life conversation.
Yep.
And I'm like, fair.
So is that how you got the fancy lighted one?
No, that was a freebie he gave me while I was looking for one. It was one of those. It's interesting because it kind of ties into, because like I've known him from the airsoft community, just like Wookiees. And a lot that we did in our kind of community was, if we wanted to buy something new and somebody else had it and they were willing to let us try it before you buy it, we did that. So we would constantly be like loaning gear out to close friends or letting people try it. So he gave me that mic because he got a new one. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's so much better. I want my own. I want my mic. So then I went and bought one and then gave it back so that somebody else could use it.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy most about streaming?
The community. Like, not being in the same, like, I was a part of an airsoft community for like 10 years. So to leave all that and not have anything else was not difficult, but definitely left me wanting. And this community that I have joined and then helped grow has definitely filled that space in such a wonderful way. So that's, yeah, all you guys in chat and everybody watching, you're the best part about streaming.
Indeed, I concur.
In my opinion.
Facts.
Yeah.
Fate spitting facts.
You asked for it.
Husband,
Yes.
will you share the adoption story of our Lord and Savior, Bird?
Okay. So I'll give you. So it's pretty straightforward.
Wait, sorry to interrupt you, but before you get started,
Yeah.
introduce Burb so everyone knows Burb's
Oh,
name and nickname.
Gotcha. So we have our a 20-year-old little piece of cake. She is we have a Kaik. She's a South American parrot. Her official name is Bunny, but she goes by a lot of different names. You guys all pretty much know her as the bird.
Mm-hmm. Or Burb or chicken, right?
Or tropical chicken. Yeah, the chicken nugget, bird, good girl, dummy. Any of those apply. Just not bun bun. That is a forbidden term.
Okay.
But yeah, no, she's a family pet. And her original owners they traveled a lot and they were kind of struggling with, giving her quality of life. And she's super feisty, doesn't really like people, but Druid could pick her up. So I was at work. Yeah, I was at work and I get a phone call and I'm like, don't ever call me at work unless there's an emergency, right? Because if you're just like, oh, I just want to say hi, like what's going on? Because I'm in the middle of work, right? I'm doing something. If it's an emergency, call me, I'll pick up. So like I'm getting a phone call, I ignore it, get a phone call. I'm like, yes, is everything okay? What's going on? Hey, so can we have the bird? And here I am like thinking something's wrong because my phone's getting blown up. And I go, what? And she gives me this quick story and I go, all right, fine. If that bird's not at the house when I get home, the answer is no. So you had until I got home to get the bird to the house. Thankfully, the bird showed up before I got home. And it was not love at first sight, though.
No.
It was about like a month before I actually enjoyed that bird. She hated me. She hated me. She tried to bite me. I cut my hair. She hated me. Oh, yeah.
It was the funniest, though.
Yeah.
Warms up to you, you chop your hair off, and then she's
Hates
like,
me for a week.
hates you again.
Birds don't do well with rapid change.
And then not that long ago, she was laying eggs because she loved you so much.
So much. Loves you
Oh,
so much.
that is true. That is true.
I wonder if Druid would be as angry at you if you shaved off the beard or shaved off all of your hair.
So if I were to do that, there has to be like forewarning.
Yeah.
Not only would I look different because it's gone, but I'd probably look different because I look like I'm wearing makeup from all the emotional scars of the sadness. Yeah, no, it'd be a trip.
So again, moving on to interesting, new, and different topics.
Yeah.
Share the least interesting place you've traveled to.
The least interesting place I've traveled to. Trying to think where have I traveled? That's not a word that's not something I do. I will say probably like Fresno, California. It's pretty lame.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that Bakersfield, it's just flat. There ain't nothing, man. It's just, yeah. I guess if you consider me traveling from like the San Francisco Bay Area down to LA, like that travel, that's pretty lame. That sucks. Like 6 hours of nothing. Lose stretches of land because I'm just driving for so long. Other than that, I mean, didn't really care for Nevada, but yeah, but I don't really get out much, so that's why I'm pasty white.
Druid.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest sleeping dream you have ever had?
The weirdest? Okay. Not the strangest, because there's one that I just don't quite understand. But it terrifies me more. Probably the weirdest dream I had a small reoccurring dream. Like, it wasn't a lot, but I had it a couple times when I was younger. This is just an absolute there makes no sense. I still don't understand it. I was on a tennis court playing tennis against the animated series villain Bane from Batman, and he's just screaming Batman speed, Batman speed, Batman speed.
I love it.
I don't know.
That is great.
I had that dream. Yeah, and like he's just like, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never played tennis. I've never played tennis. I don't know what's going on. And it was terrifying, but I wasn't afraid. It was just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. That was probably the weirdest stream.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah. That's an old one.
That's an oldie but goodie.
Yeah. It's so visceral.
So on that same topic, what is the weirdest place you've ever slept?
The weirdest place I've ever slept? It's I slept on the roof of someone's overhang once. Yeah.
That is definitely weird. What's the story with that?
It was a nice summer evening. Hanging out with some friends and just fell asleep. Sleeping bags.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nothing interesting. It was just like, it was a nice evening, hanging out, chatting, and okay, we'll just sleep out here. I don't know if that's more weird than sleeping on the roof of the houseboat. I mean, I guess that's kind of.
I mean, sleeping on any roof feels pretty strange.
But one's like you're camping in the summer on Lake Shasta, and the other's like, the sketchy neighborhood.
I feel like the sketchy neighborhood is definitely weirder to sleep on a roof.
Okay, we'll go with that one.
Because I feel like it's pretty normal to be like, I'm going to go onto the roof of the boat. I feel like that's a normal sentence to say.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Slept on the overhang.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think we did it like 3 times, so it wasn't just once. Yeah.
What was the biggest culture shock you experienced after moving from California to Washington?
The weather needs to make up its mind. I don't mind it, right? I don't mind the cold, don't mind the rain. Perfectly okay. However, when I wake up and it's raining and I go to work with a jacket and then I go to lunch and it's like 60 degrees and I need to take my jacket off, to then leave the jacket in the car, to then leave to go home and it's raining and my jacket's now in the car. I'm not a fan of that. Figure it out, Washington. Get your weather under control, man. Yeah, I think that's the thing that's been the hardest to acclimate to, is just that rebounding, rapid change in weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see why it took over a year for me to break the habit of bringing a jacket with me, even on nice days.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I still make fun of you for it, but I absolutely understand. Yeah. Happened today. Didn't put a jacket on. Guess what? It's raining.
It's one of those things you have to learn from experience, because I was going to say maybe you should bring a jacket, but then I was like, you know what? He needs to get rained on a few times to learn that lesson.
Was in the car anyway. So I was like, I'll just put it on, and I never did.
All right, I like this question. This one's a big one. I can't wait for this one. So, buddy, there was a time you were confused by a magnet on the coffee grinder. Yeah. Please share this story.
So I'm gonna put up a little disclaimer. It's gonna sound like I am slandering my lovely wife over here. It's because I am. Okay. So we all know Druid loves coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a given. And we finally got a nice coffee machine and a coffee grinder so we can do whole bean. Perfect. So here we are, we're making coffee in the mornings, and Drew did this really cool thing where when she'd bring coffee home from work that we were grinding, she'd cut the the graphic and the label off the front of it and place it on the coffee grinder so you can see what coffee we're drinking, whether it's like what blend or whatever, which is cool. Like, oh, I know what coffee I'm drinking this morning. Very cool. And it's held on with a magnet.
Mm.
And Druid typically is the one to make coffee, not me. I don't, not that I don't ever do it, but it's her thing. So I go to make coffee and I have to take the label and the magnet off to get the coffee grinds out to put in the thing, and then I go to put everything back and the magnet doesn't stick. And I'm confused. I'm so confused because it wasn't sticking. And I'm like, what? So I give up. I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb. Next day, I try it again. Oh, magnet. What? I'm not understanding. And Druid over here saw me the previous day, struggling, confused, and angry because I couldn't get the magnet to stick. And then she's like, it's right here. And I was literally like half an inch away from the piece of metal the entire time.
So you're sticking the magnet on plastic?
Yeah, because I'm like, where does it stick? And she's like, I saw you struggling and just let you. To tell you how livid I was to find out that she's like, that's hilarious, you're struggling, and I'm not gonna help you. But then I'm gonna tell you that I'm like, hey, I saw that you suck at that, and I'm not gonna offer any assistance because I get enjoyment. Is pretty mean. So I refused to make coffee for a long time. Like every time I look at it, I still like. There's always a little bit of hate. I don't particularly use that word a lot, but there was quite a bit of hate. And the thing is, by the time I realized it, when she showed me, I'm like, I had like a 1 in intelligence. Like, I just, like, you know what? No, it's like she goes, feeble mind. And I'm just an idiot. I felt so dumb. And because it was so simple and it was super silly. Like there's no real malice involved, but I felt like such an idiot. I was like, so I refused to put the label back in place. I would just take it off and leave it out of spite.
I stopped putting him up there.
Yeah, out of spite. Yeah, I struggled.
Thank you. That was epic. I see now why Druid wanted you to tell that story. You do tell it fantastically. Yeah. You're right.
I mean, did she tell you about the birdie bread incident too?
No.
Nope. We'll have to save that one for the next interview.
Okay. Stupid. What?
I have the giggles now.
Yeah.
Why did you have such a visceral reaction to Lucy asking you about doing a Predator cosplay? Explain.
Oh, Lucy, I hope you're here. If not, I will tell it again. So while playing Airsoft, we are LARPing. We are doing live action role play. And a lot of people get into it. And very similarly in, the service, military and all that, there tends to be like call signs or like nicknames. So a lot of us in the Airsoft community have some type of call sign or nickname. Mine happens to be Predator. And Predator as in like, not a predator like an apex predator, but Predator like from the movie.
Okay.
And this is before I had the locks that look like it.
Oh, wow.
And funny enough, it came from Teddy. We were playing a game, and he was the objective. So the other, like, we were vying to capture him and take him to a location. And there were a bunch of new players that had him. And he's got a bunch of kids all just like holding on to him, whatever. And I step out and I wasn't paying attention. I look over and I see them, and I'm on the other team. And I stop and stare. And they go to like rifle up like they're going to shoot. And I just like hold my ground and then just start pacing back and forth. And they ignored me. And as soon as they turned away, I just absolutely demolished them. Like, you should have took a shot. So he's like, that was very much like the Predator. Like, you saw them, you stalked them, you waited, and then you struck. And I was like, yeah. So ever since then, he called me Predator. And before I had locks, I actually made a headband that protected my head that was like braided paracord to look like locks for the Predator.
Cool.
So that in itself is very much me. So. And
right
it didn't
on.
help. And then it helps when I got these, and everyone's like, "Oh, so now they're real." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got tired of the fake ones." So I'm always a Predator. Yeah.
Ooh, I like this one. This is good. Tell us about how you first met Druid.
I first met Druid. I was working at a bank. I was behind the teller line, and there was a cute girl in line. And she happened to make it up to my window, you know, and I'm like, "Hi, how you doing? What can I do for you today?" And she had just moved from Washington down to California and had gotten a job at the grocery store that my branch was inside of, and just had a new job and was like, "Yeah, my grandpa banks with you guys, so I might as well open up an account. You know, sure, why not?" So I did. And I pushed her off to one of my bankers. She opened an account and didn't see her for 3 weeks. Thought she ghosted me. Right? There was nothing. I just was like, "Oh, I guess I'll see her around." Nope. I was like, "Oh, well, okay." And then you move on with your life, right? You know, you don't put a second thought into it. And then, you know, everyone else was like, "Oh, she's super cute." And then my banker was grilling her on questions. I'm like, "Do you have a boyfriend? Are you down here by yourself? Like, what's all this?"
Subtly, not like super like outlandishly, but like subtle.
Yeah. Total played wingman. So I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, continue working." And then one day I see her at the clock-in station, and everyone else saw her, and then I saw her, and I'm like, "She's real." Like, we didn't dream this, right? And really, I mean, realistically, like, she was cute and she was pleasant. She was nice. And when I reached out to her, I walked over. She got a job at the deli, so she's making sandwiches. So I was like, I want to make a friend. I didn't go in with any intent to be like, "Ooh, let's try to date this person. No, it was just like, let's make a friend. You know, new to the area. Why not?" So I put my name on the back of my business card.
You put your
Or my phone number. Yeah,
your
my phone number.
Back to your business card.
Yeah. And then I asked her to make me a sandwich. And then she made me a sandwich. And then I gave her my business card and just said, "Make a friend." And then she texted me later that night, you know, and then I respond with, "Hi, who are you doing tonight?" Because of autocorrect.
Are you serious?
And as soon as I sent that, I was standing with a coworker, and I was like, click, and then I read it again, and I look at my coworker, I'm like, "Well, I mucked that up." And I accepted defeat. Yeah.
Sandwiches, a modern romance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and yeah.
This opens up a whole new question then. You received this text from the sky saying, "Who are you doing tonight?" What was your reaction to that?
I said, I thought, I really hope he meant, "How are you doing?" So I'm going to give him the benefit of a doubt because he seemed very nice. But if it gets weird, it's gonna be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she decided to give me some chance because she admitted later that she stalked me a lot before she got the job, like actually started working.
Oh.
I didn't stalk you.
Yeah, you did. You're like, yeah, I stood off like super back and watched you work a lot.
No,
You did?
it's after we started talking.
Whatever.
No. You gave me your phone number.
Yeah.
We started texting.
Yeah.
So then I just conveniently happened to be around when you got off work so we could talk in person.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, regaling us with a tale of romance. We appreciate that.
But yeah, no, and then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. 100% out of a rom-com.
I love it.
Won him over with my sandwich making skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So do not underestimate the power of a good sandwich.
A little anecdote with that. It was one of the first things she ever did at that job was make me a sandwich. And the last thing she did at that job was make me a sandwich. We had to make it come full circle.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was good.
Okay, super switching topics.
Yeah.
Can you share a funny story from your time as an EMT?
Ooh, a funny story?
Funny,
Yeah.
lighthearted, or
That's not my story though.
oh, that's true.
That's not my
That's
story.
true.
It was pretty funny though. I mean, I can give that as a footnote. Whatever you do, if you ever work in EMS and you're ever picking up a patient from the hospital or anywhere and they're covered with a blanket, you never snap the blankets. Never snap the blankets. Because when people have dry, flaky skin, that kind of creates a tidal wave in the air towards whoever is at the opposite end.
I don't even want to know. I don't think.
Yeah. Funny story. I think one of the funniest moments, just most of my Aries. Most of my things are more horror stories, and they're not really funny.
Right.
They're funnier to me because of the context and like being in that kind of environment. But probably one of the funniest things was when I was working and picking up a patient at a facility, and my mom strolls up and was like, "What you doing?"
Because she's a firefighter.
Mm-hmm. Did we freeze?
We froze.
Oh no.
Who froze?
Oh, we did. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
We're fine.
It didn't look like it froze on our end.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So you heard the whole story?
Yeah, heard it all.
Yeah,
Saw you
so
moving.
my-
Yeah.
So mom was a firefighter, and she worked in the same area that I worked in. So we were picking up a patient, and she saw our rig, and she's just like, "Oh, my nickname for my parents is Buddy Man. My parents just always called me Buddy Man when I was younger. So mom's like, "Ooh, I wonder if that's Buddy Man." So she like runs up and like looks, and she oh yeah. So mom was like, can I load the patient on the gurney with you?" So my mom was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So my mom like lifted my patient up and loaded in the gurney. Had no business doing so, in the sense of like needed help. But she's like, "Yeah, we're working together today for like 30 seconds," and that was pretty fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love your mom so much.
My mom was
Every
psycho.
time you talk about her, and I'm like, yes, I love your mom.
All right, so here's our last prepared question for you for today before we move to our audience members.
Sure.
If there is one food you could eat for every meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The forbidden food now, which would be sushi.
Forbidden?
Yeah. Because she has a seafood allergy, developed one, and I won't eat sushi because I then can't give her love and affection without her breaking out into hives. So
I respect the hell out of that. That's awesome. I mean, it's not really surprising because you're a loving, wonderful person. So yeah.
I was fishing for another answer though.
I don't know. Oh, yes. Well, no. What's the one thing? No, okay. What's the one like food that I could eat forever, like that I would want to, versus the one thing that I could sustain myself on without problems, which would be
so
bread.
literally the wording.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still haven't heard
could
it
live off-
because she cut out.
Oh,
So what was it?
bread. Yeah, I could live off of bread,
Okay.
peanut butter, bread, and coffee, and I'll be fine.
Literally, he could eat that at any point for the rest of his life. I can hand him a loaf of bread and a jar of almond butter and a cup of coffee. He's set literally for days.
A little bit of honey too, and then I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. Nothing.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Thank you for those amazing questions. Thank you for. So normally we wrap it up with. I guess we don't have those there this time. Tell the folks again about something you'd like them to know about your stream, and then we'll open up the questions to the floor. One more time, guys. extirpateFate. Find him on Twitch. You can check our About section below for links. And yeah, let's open up the floor with some questions. And also, while we're waiting for questions from people over there and we're getting to them, if you have any questions for us, feel free as well. So let's go back and do the one that we missed earlier before we get to Aries' question. I feel like that's who was it that asked a question earlier?
It was Majestic Wolf. And it was for all of us, and it says, what was the first character? I'm assuming it says you have ever played?
If that was in like a D&D context, it would have been my human assassin, Jace Korth. Back in like 2010, 2011.
And you guys are watching my first D&D character unfold. Her name is Fern.
Right. For me, my first character was in 1981. He was I guess he was first a fighter, and then he was basically a knight, and his name was Brian Baru, and yeah.
Brian Baru?
Yeah.
Nice.
And
cool.
So looks like Aries has a question. What would it take to see you do some art on your streams?
It would take Druid's computer to ship in the next 5 to 10 business days, and then show up, and then finish the rest of the setup, and then get an art tablet.
And something to heat the garage, right?
What's that?
And something to heat the garage?
Oh, different kind of art stream. If I were gonna paint my actual paintings, like if I was gonna stream those, that would require, going all the way out in the garage, complete entire whole new stream setup, because there's no good feasible way to do that here. The downside with doing the abstract art as a live stream, when I paint in a lot of layers, and I always let the layer dry before I go to the next one. So it typically there's a huge time dilation when it comes to my painting. People ask, how long did it take me to paint this? I'm like, well, the time from when I started painting to when the product is done takes a couple of days. The amount of time I spend painting is fractional because it's in short bursts. So it's usually maybe 20-30 minutes at a time, and then drying for a couple hours and coming back to it later that day or the next day. So it would not be really entertaining to watch me paint these, like what I have back here, that or like this stuff, just because there's so much time in between each layer.
I gotcha. I totally see what you mean. Yeah, some art is a process, and it you're right. It just takes a lot of time for sure. Looks like sorry, Drew. Why don't you do Mia's question?
Iltacine asks, why don't we get more Fate streams?
We typically don't get more Fate streams because Druid over here is going to school, and some of the programs work best on the main computer that we typically use for streaming versus the laptop. So I respectfully don't get in the way of that to allow her to use that when she needs to. Also, because Druid tends to work later than I do, when I come home, I usually have to turn around and go pick her up. So I don't really have a lot of time to set up the stream, start streaming, stop, go get her, come back, pick up. And by that time, it's like 8:30 and I have work the next day. So yeah, and most of it's just scheduling. That's pretty much why.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll see some more when Druid's computer shows up, so that way we're not fighting for resources.
I like Mia's question. That's a great question, Mia. She says it's a question for all of us. Have you traveled abroad, and where would you like to travel to most? I'll let you guys answer that one first.
I have traveled to Peru. It was this little town called Mejia. It was absolutely beautiful. I was there through the entire month of February. I survived Carnival there. I barely remember it because, it was Carnival. And it was beautiful. Yeah. But if I were to travel anywhere, it would be literally anywhere in the UK. Literally anywhere in the UK.
Yeah. I've never left the US. So, yeah. I've never traveled abroad. Furthest away that I've traveled was Hawaii. If I could, or when I'm able to travel or get to that point to travel abroad, I would love to go visit like the United Kingdom, like Europe, Ireland. I would love to go to Sweden, Norway, all those places.
Indeed.
Maybe Japan.
Yep.
I think Japan would be fun.
Yeah.
But Japan would be scary fun. That'd be
Why would it be scary fun?
I don't know. I feel like I'd have a harder time in like trying to identify where I'm going and asking for assistance, where I'm more likely to encounter somebody that can help me if I get stuck in a European country. They speak more English. We can communicate.
Yeah.
Japan doesn't. You have to know what you're doing. And I don't.
Yeah, for me, I have been to India, Singapore, Hong Kong. I think those are, I think actually, and New Zealand.
I've traveled so much, and I can't remember them all.
Not really, not that much. I've been to 4 different places. I mean, technically speaking, Singapore and Hong Kong were layovers. Singapore was like a day layover, so I actually got to experience a little bit of it. Hong Kong was just a few hour layover, so that in a way it doesn't count other than I was there, but yeah, I spent a month in India. I spent a month in New Zealand, and then I also took Star Kitty back to New Zealand for a week a few years ago. But we want to definitely go to Japan and Europe for sure. When we go to Europe, we'd start with the UK, just like you guys. It's basically a lot of the same places.
We literally want to just go visit all of our friends in the UK.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, we're just gonna go there and we're gonna be like, okay, cool. We got OG Blaze, Banana Tom, Ezo. We're just gonna map our trek based off of like getting to their places and back.
We can't do an Ezo face reveal until I have 500 followers. So get on it.
That's right. Everyone party at BT's house.
BT's house. Yeah,
that's right.
Trying.
So Majestic Wolf was asking for all of us who was our first D&D character. I guess we answered that one though. So
We did.
Yeah.
okay. And he says he never left the U.S. but would like to go to Ireland, Greece, England. Yeah, for sure.
I really want to go to Belfast.
Did you hear our answers, Majestic Wolf? We did go back and find that question. But I can just reiterate again in case you didn't hear it. I am literally live streaming my first character. Her name is Fern.
Mm-hmm. And
how did you guys?
I
think he's asking how because we.
Yeah. How did we all meet? Or how did Druid and I meet?
Because we just told that story.
Yeah.
Oh, Majestic Wolf had to leave. So real quick, reiterate again, Fate, your character.
Oh, my first character was a human assassin named Jace Korath. And he was a spicy boy.
Yeah. My first character was a human knight in 1981 named Brian Brew. So
okay,
yeah.
can I tell this story?
Yes, feel free, run with it.
Okay, so the reason why all of us met is because of Ezo.
Mm-hmm.
Ezo and I were both moderators for our friend Just Me Josher, and then Ezo was also a moderator for Stormy, and so then Ezo got Josher and Stormy to raid each other. And then that's how we all like met. And then so of course I'm like, okay, who's this super cool person? And then we just start talking, and now we're here.
It was a throwaway comment, not really throwaway, but it was a casual like, oh, I'd love to play D&D, and you're like, oh yeah, do you want to do that? And you're like, okay, cool, sure. And then here we are years later.
Fate and I already have like fully fleshed out character backstories and everything. Mm-hmm. And then I told Stormy, and Stormy was like, I actually have a world that would work for this. And it's just all literally.
Yeah. It just fell together.
I obviously did flesh out the world even more. But like what I had for the world was just kind of a start for it. And then, but because I like to tailor my worlds around the characters, it was awesome finding players who had such in-depth understanding of their characters' backstories and motivations and personalities that I was able to, integrate this overarching story into, who and what they are. And it's a blast. What?
I have a question for both of you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this involves the character. So, Stormy, for you, this would be for Rylar, specifically.
Oh. Okay.
What is the lie that your character tells yourself?
What is the lie that I tell? Mm-hmm. Why would I tell a lie? I'm not good at keeping secrets, so why do you think I would lie?
I mean, it makes sense that Fern would take that literally.
It's true. Yeah.
But from the character creation standpoint, not directly your character, but like, what's that one thing that's like they lied to themselves about?
We're gonna make it out alive.
Ooh.
Everything will be fine.
That's
no
where her
happens.
Overconfidence comes from, huh? Mm-hmm. Is that?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Stormy's like, ooh.
That's good. I like it. Man, for Rylar, that's a tough one. I would have to say, probably that he isn't what he thinks he is. That there's obviously something more to his relationship with Goo than he believes.
Harry Shenanigans, thank you for the 100 bits.
Ah, Majestic Wolf met me through Artology. I remember, yes. And thank you for the bits, Harry Shenanigans. Sorry we don't have audio for this stream, but Dagot says, I remember when the campaign started. Seems like forever ago. Everyone's characters have come so far and developed a lot. Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Majestic Wolf plays a Drow Arcane Trickster Rogue.
Oh wow, that's a nice combo. That's
That's
a scary
beautiful
combo in
combo.
fifth
That sounds
ed. Yeah.
fun.
Oh my goodness.
Does anybody else have any questions for our dear Extirpate Fate?
Did
How
we
do you
miss-
deal with me
Look,
on a regular basis?
that's a good one.
Tell the people. Tell the people how you deal with me.
You kind of have to fight fire with fire. Admittedly, the energy that you see that I have playing Lorcris on our D&D stream is a very like deliberate muting of a lot of my like mannerisms. And then same with me on stream, in trying to convey a like a rather chill atmosphere, or not to say subdued, but like a calm, relaxing atmosphere is the intent. When everything is all said and done, and we're all playing together, and Druid and I actually play games together next to each other, there will be some quote unquote hate crimes. Like the energy that you see from Druid is also very similar to my energy that I give her, in a lot of ways. It's not typically energy that is expressed out to the world in public like she does, but between ourselves, I probably push her buttons more than she pushes mine. Like that is probably the case. Like I am more the goofball outside of this streaming aspect. I just can't keep it up for very long.
Right on. I love that there's different facets to us as people, and we get to see glimpses of that every once in a while. Looks like my Star Kitty shared that Philip loves her more than Lorcris is Emmeline's lie.
Ooh, I'm not surprised though. Like that does not shock me. But I
think she thinks that's her lie, but I don't think that she's necessarily accurate in that.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Mia's got another question. I'll let you ask it.
Actually, hold on. No. I'm going to get Daddy Dagoth's first.
Oh, yeah.
Daddy Dagoth asks, when are we playing Sea of Thieves again?
Okay. That's a good question.
I got wait. I'm gonna jump ahead of that. I gotta ask on Dagoth's behalf. Why did you not get back with him about that on Discord? Because he's been bugging Druid and I about you not getting back with him on Discord.
Discord is perpetually on mute because with everybody constantly communicating in Discord, my phone goes off at work all the time. And I just have to silence it.
So you just missed it. You just overlooked it.
Yeah, I typically don't see them. I usually see Discord notifications like once or twice a week. And then sometimes I don't see it because Druid uses my Discord a lot and ends up clearing out notifications for me. Because she knows I hate seeing the numbers. So I
I'm the
miss things
same
all
way,
the
brother.
time.
I clear it out every single day. Actually, probably every other hour I clear it out.
Yeah, I like, okay, if you ever look at my phone, like you'll rarely ever see notifications up at the top of the I
hate them.
Whereas
Druid loves the numbers.
The amount of notifications I have up would literally throw you both into a tissy.
Yeah. That's bled over to my my work. Like I'm constantly, I hate seeing how many unread emails I have.
Oh, like, yes, I'm the same way. You look at my inbox and you're like, how come you never get emails? No, I get emails. Yeah. I just read them.
Just yeah.
That's my answer. All right. Yeah. So, actual question that we didn't actually get to. His question
when
was,
we playing Sea of Thieves again. So I'm actually so what the server slam is that next week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me check my events.
I think the server slam will be next week.
It's the 12th.
Yeah.
So it's 12th. It's in 7 days? Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
7 days.
Okay.
That was going to be one of my next questions, which is, are you excited for Diablo 4?
We'll get to that one. So in kind of prepping for playing together with a group of people, as well as getting comfortable going back to using the mouse and keyboard, because that for Diablo, I was thinking of next week or the week after the server slam, to jump back into some Sea of Thieves and grab some, pull some other people.
Right on. Cool. By the way, Dagoth, I wasn't intending to put you on the spot. I was actually intending to have your back because honestly, I kept forgetting to ask him on your behalf. And so this was like helping hold me accountable to help you talk to him about it. So,
but yeah.
Mia's question,
because I'm oblivious.
Yeah.
Mia's question is very good.
Okay. Yeah. What was your most teaching moment as a teen? That moment that defined your mature personality? Oh wow, that's a good one.
Ooh, that's a deep question. And what I'm gonna say, though, may sound more negative than it is. It's just the circumstance that pushed me to where I am. It was less of a teen and like late teens, early 20s, more so. I was always bullied as a kid. I was bullied from like preschool up until like my senior year of high school. Like I was always the outcast. I was always the one on the fringes. I was always the butt of every joke. And I had met somebody who basically kept encouraging me to be like, give them the middle finger. Like, who cares? They're the idiots. If they're not going to respect your boundaries and your position, then you don't need them in your life. And it took a long time for that to click. So when I had started dating somebody who that same friend was interested in, and I was like, hey, are you cool with that? Like, because we were friends first. Like, I mean, I realized I had an interest, and he's like, yeah, go for it. So I was like, okay, sure. I mean, you're cool with it. So I did, and lost a lot of friends because of it. And I finally just said, I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I'm going to take a page out of your book and go, that's too bad. You can either live with it or you don't. And yeah, I'm not going to let you put me down for something that you were cool with and that you didn't really articulate to everybody else. And to come back to a workspace and people tell me you're not welcome here, and basically got let go in that context because they didn't agree with my decision, but they used my new job as the excuse. Really kind of sucked. But it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? You're like, oh, you're not the person I used to remember. And I'm like, yeah, the person you used to remember let everyone walk all over him. And I'm done with that. And you don't like it? Well, that's how it feels. So that was one of the huge defining moments in learning lessons of like, you know what? I really don't care anymore. You can be as spiteful as you want. I don't want that in my life. So I'm just going to let you go. Which unfortunately bred a situation where if like I don't really jive with someone for like things and we start like creating a lot of friction, I'm okay with just letting it go. Like that's fine. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm going to be happier not having you in my life or having that negativity. So I'm just gonna walk away from it, regardless of how you feel.
Yeah, you found that confidence and self-awareness and self-esteem, true self-esteem, to go, you know what? I'm worth not having this toxicity in my life, you know? Yeah. And I'm worth, you know, my time and my relationships are worth, you know, people who are going to see my value as I value them. And yeah, that is definitely a good lesson for everybody to learn. And it can be a tough one. But it's one of the best.
It still sucks because like, you know, even to this day, like there are tons of people that I'm like, if you walked out of my life, I would not care. Like they would not hurt me, you know? And it's just kind of like, it's one of those things where you say that and then the situation happens and you're disappointed that the situation is there, not that you're losing the individual. And I struggle more with being in the situation than losing the person. Like that hurts me more. The conflict hurts me more than walking away. So, yeah, good lesson to learn, people. Don't let people walk all over you, especially for 20 years. It takes about another 20 years to get over it.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll never get over that.
conflict. I hit.
Conflict management.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Have no IRL friends, all digital. We still drinking.
To that Aries, I'm gonna say leaving California and stepping away from the airsoft community that became toxic at the end is the reason why I don't particularly have friends out here. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a complete loner, but I don't go hang out with other people, and it's a way of not feeling like I'm somebody else's disappointment because I don't have the time to hang out, or I don't feel like hanging out because I am the introvert. So with streaming, I get to choose when I share my time with you guys. So, and not in that bad way, but like when I am comfortable being out and communicating and with everybody is when I choose to be. So I have that control, and I do want to do it more. So I don't do it because I don't like you guys. More streams are coming eventually. I promise. I do enjoy this community, but I get to choose when I get to hang out with people rather than be working in the industry and be like, when are you going to hang out with me? I'm like, well, I'm working. So what do you want me to do? You're hanging out with me now. It's what you get. Don't make me feel bad.
Whereas I'm the complete polar opposite. I'm like, I need to talk. But like texting and like messaging, like I'm really, really poor at keeping up with. But if we're like face to face or over video chat, I'm like, let's go. Yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah,
I love this.
You do that in public, and I'm just like, can we just go home, please? I want to go eat my food. And you're just like, yeah. I'm like,
we're gonna just talk to everyone.
Well, that means that you guys make a great balance for each other. You help each other open up to different possibilities and different situations. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. She gets to scratch the beard. She gets to rub the beard. All right. Their pets, their plants, talk to everyone. Yep, she definitely does that. In game and out of game.
Yes.
All right.
I do.
Well, Fate, man, it's been fantastic having you on the show. And
I appreciate
a lot of these questions I already knew the answers to because we've gotten to know each other, over the time. Some of them I didn't, and so I'm honored that you shared them with us. But I was also super honored to be able to share the things that I did know about you with our community, which I know is the way Druid feels, because that's what she's always telling me, how much she wants to share you guys with us, and that's real love, right? When you want, there are people out there in the world that have these kind of jealous, possessive relationships, right? They want to hoard a person to themselves, but true love is when you recognize the value of that person in the world and to the world, and want to share that person, within reason, obviously. But yeah, and I think it's wonderful that we all kind of have that, and
absolutely,
I'm honored to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What did you say? You need to look at the mic.
I said thanks for coming onto our podcast.
Yes. Thank you for coming on Bandwidth and Banter. It was amazing. We love you, brother.
Yes.
And
love you too. Thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have you on again in the future. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Lucy, since you're here, did you happen to catch the explanation about the whole Predator cosplay thing? I wasn't sure if you were here for that. If
Lucy's in stream?
Yeah.
He redeemed Hydrate.
Yeah. He did. Okay, right on.
Yeah. So.
Happy Revenge of the 5th.
Oh yeah, Revenge of the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're gonna do our outro now.
Okay, fine.
All right. So Lucy, if you missed we highlighted you on the show today with the question reiterated to him. He explained to us about his wanting to eventually do a cosplay of the Predator, and so be sure to check out the YouTube video or the VOD if you missed it, and we appreciate you. All right. Thanks again, Fate.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Druid, wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to scoot you over there. I knew this would be a special episode, just like Star Kitties. The be able to share all of our D&D dream team with these folks on a more deeper level has been my deepest honor and pleasure. So
I just have to always show off my husband as much as possible, because if I don't, he'll never, nobody will know. Nobody will know how amazing he is. And, he's the person that keeps me grounded. He keeps me motivated. I wouldn't be here literally without him. So special.
Indeed. I feel the same way about Star Kitty, which is why I'm constantly getting her to bring me food on my Thursday streams and come on the show briefly and say hello to everybody, because I love showing her off and love having her on our D&D stream. So thanks again to all you wonderful folks for joining us for another episode of Bandwidth and Banter. And anything else to say there, Druid?
Go follow my husband if you want some actual gameplay, actual chill vibes. What, somebody who actually knows how to play video games? Please go check him out. He streams on Sundays.
Yes, check him out in my about section below. Extirpate Fate. All right, see you guys. Don't forget, Druid's going to be streaming in just a little bit, right?
In about 1 hour.
In about an hour. And then I'll be streaming after that this evening. So thank you guys for showing up again. We love you. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.
Goodbye. Goodbye.